brother, and I cut his nephew. And one of the things that he was telling me that I didn't know, he's like, oh, you know that he got a deal with Reebok. And I'm like, wow, he just started. And he's like, oh yeah, they send those to my house all the time. And he doesn't even wear them. And he has to go, because of the contract, he has to go back to New York every year to do like a new commercial. So I Googled it, and then I went to YouTube and I saw a lot of stuff that he's doing, and he's even getting a new contract on vitamin water and stuff like that. So those are the things that, you didn't see that until the person was actually, no mainstream to get those type of endorsement deals.
But now micro-influencers are making money off Instagram. They're getting brand deals, like big brands are investing in micro-influencers as well. So you don't have to be a 1 million follower. Right. But if you have an engaged audience, and I know in social media the word engagement is important. It's important, it's vital. Like you can't have social media without engagement. But I think at the end of the day, marketing is really about, you really need to understand your audience. You can't do marketing without understanding your audience. So let's say I'm super passionate about birdhouses. I don't know. But if there isn't a community that's also passionate, by the way, there's actually a lot of forums, there's a huge community in that. Really? But let's say there wasn't, then it doesn't matter that I'm super passionate about that, because there's no demand, right?
Right.
There's no sales. I can't sell something that I don't know people want. So you really have to, and that's what branding is. Branding is like how you make people feel, right? What is it that you offer? So for example, you guys are in the salon industry. You make people feel good. You make people look good. So it's a very experienced type of thing. Musician, DJ, it's also very experienced. So to show, what do you post on social media? You post the experiences, and you post the other people having the experiences. So one really important thing in social media that celebrities, entertainers, and other people use, for example,
politicians.
And politicians. For example, we'll take here local, David Grutman. Is it Grutman or Grootman? Grootman, I think. The king of the nightlife in Miami. If you follow him on Instagram, even him, obviously he's very well off. It's called social proof. So social proof is basically when other people are validating your business, right? So I'm gonna believe someone that says, it's Eric, right? Eric is the best DJ, or he's a great co-host, whatever. But if Eric comes here and he's like, I'm the best DJ, I'm the best co-host, whatever, people believe in people. People trust people, they don't trust companies. So social proof.
Back to reviews.
Yes.
Because the reviews, it gives you credibility.
Yes. So they did a study. Social proof has come with, if you ever seen a study where, let's say you have a line of people, and then 3 people start looking up, what's going to happen? Everyone else starts looking up, even if there's nothing in the sky. Because people want social proof. They want to be part of that thing that's happening. So, one great tip to use in social media, for example, is reposting if people tag you. It's something so easy.
It's very powerful.
That's something so easy. It's free. It's easy to do. But a lot of people don't do it.
And it doesn't take a lot of time.
Doesn't take a lot of time because the work is done for you. They've added a GIF, they've added a sticker, they've tagged you. You have to do add to story.
One of the most amazing things I've seen lately, you look at this movie Bad Boys 3, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh my God, it's so good!
I haven't seen it yet. Please don't spoil it for me.
You gotta go.
I think I'm gonna go tonight.
So hard.
I think I'm gonna go tonight.
I laughed so hard.
It's amazing.
But what I analyzed was, you got Will Smith, which is probably one of the top 10 grossing actors of all time. Which, and then you got Martin Lawrence, which is another successful person that's had so much success. And I don't know if you guys saw how much social media and how much these guys went on I think we could have had them on. I think we could have, because they went everywhere. And that shows you what's happening. If these guys said, man, if we're going to make money on this movie, we better go to every social media outlet, to every podcast, to everything.
They have extra clips on social media that is not in the movie. A bunch of stuff that's not in the movie, but it's
I haven't seen the movie, and I've watched every interview they've done. I'm like, why haven't I seen this movie?
Bro, I'm gonna pay for that ticket so you can go.
It's so good.
Because I have a lot of people to organize my time with, so to go.
Very well written. I thought it was brilliantly written.
But just to add to that, and for me in the music world, as a musician, You know, a lot of artists have had that difficulty adapting to this.
Yes.
Because before,
Because
at least in
people
entertainment, the thing was, if you were least accessible, that's how you became
Wow.
a star, right? Did you ever see Michael Jackson doing too many interviews, or
No.
Madonna, or the really big
Yeah,
people?
no.
Because that's what maintained their mystique, you know?
Right.
Now it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Now it's if you're not around things, people, hey, whatever happened
People
to
forget you. Like,
you know,
Yeah.
they forget you.
Yeah.
So now it's like
Things
you
are
better
more
have a
fun.
post every day. You better
Yeah.
be posting some kind of pictures, and it's just everything's changed.
everything
It's
will
like-
change.
You know, I was watching an interview about Mayweather, for instance, and I was also talking to a guy that comes to
Sport
the shop
guy.
that he's a
Sport
barber.
guy.
I mean, he's a boxer.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what do you think is the main thing why these guys get out of retirement? You think it's because they miss the craft, the money? What is it? And he said, no, they miss the eye, to be in the eye,
Mhm.
to be talked about, to
True.
be that center of attention. That's what they miss. And, you know, one of the things that I've learned throughout the years of being in business is you have to land, if you're really somebody that's making an impact on social media, you have to land on the Explore page. If you land on the Explore page, then
You made it.
You made it. You
Which
have,
is-
yeah, you have,
Which
which,
is Google?
no, it's in
Instagram.
Instagram. When you go to search something and if you're there, it's
Yeah, for
because,
those that perhaps don't
yeah,
know,
those that don't know, it's on the search bar inside of Instagram when you're searching for something. And another thing, going back to what you talked about niche, you know, you have to be very careful on what you post. You have to stick to your niche.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they post a whole bunch of different stuff. And one of the things that I have, which might seem a little like odd, but the reason why I have 4 different Instagram pages is because you have to kind of have a department for every part of your life. And when you do that niche, you send out what you're trying to say in that certain moment with what you're trying to say with that niche.
Let the marketers speak. What you think about that?
So there's one thing that as human beings that's difficult with marketing, I think, with social media and how it's changed so much, is that you have to understand that your brand, your website, your social media presence,
Right.
it has a job to attract and repel. And I think we have a really hard time niching down. Sometimes we want to be what's called generalists.
Yes.
Because we want everybody, right? I want volume. It's kind of like that factory mentality. But now, I mean, wouldn't you like to work less and make more? I don't know, I would.
Right,
I love
of course.
traveling. I would love to work 4 hours a day only and, you know, travel 3 months out of the year. That's like my goal.
Yeah.
But it's like, so that part is scary because not everyone's gonna like you, but that's okay because the people you attract, those are the people that are gonna invest in you. Those are the people that are gonna become your fans.
Right.
Those are the people that are gonna talk about you every time they go to your salon,
Right,
right? I
right.
do. I'm always posting. I'm
Yes,
doing
you are.
boomerangs.
Thank you for that.
So I think it's scary to put ourselves out there, because now there's trolls, there's haters, there's competitors who come in and write negative reviews on your stuff.
Yeah.
if there's even, you know, threats. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, going towards that, I don't know if you guys heard of Pop Smoke.
No.
He was a 20-year-old rapper. I was talking to my
Oh,
wife
that's
about
posted
it.
in the
Oh,
story.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
so scary.
he had a lot of haters, right? And
Because he was snitching or something.
no, he was just, he was living his life. He was
Okay.
posting a lot, like you say, scary
Yeah.
to post, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he posted an Insta story, and he had a bunch of stuff they had sent him, like Louis Vuitton,
Yeah.
Gucci.
And it showed his address.
Exactly.
So you do have to be
So
careful.
you gotta be careful
I mean,
what you're posting.
Yeah.
So I'm always telling my wife and people around me, listen,
Yeah.
I don't like to post when I'm getting ready to take a trip. Or,
Right.
you know,
Do it after.
do it
Film
after. Late
everything.
post.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
film everything. That's what I did
Yes.
when I went to Spain. And people are like, you still there? I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable posting this right
No.
now. So I filmed a bunch of things
Right.
and I waited like 4 days later
That's right.
and started my trip. But I was already in a different country
Absolutely.
when I started.
Right.
But yeah, there's also this big question nowadays. What do you post on social media? So there's going to be different views about this. It depends a lot on, is your brand your name, right? Is it you? So are people following you more of a lifestyle? And there's different types of brands, there's different types of influencers. What I love about marketing and the digital marketing is that there's so many different niches. A lot of people think, oh, I can only become famous if I become, I don't know, musician, fashion, or makeup artist. There's a girl selling classes on watercoloring, and she's made over $1 million.
Wow, absolutely.
You know, so there's so many niches because there's so many communities, there's so many tribes. And for me, I tend to get very personal in mine, but like, obviously I'm more, you know, conscious. My husband doesn't like to be on very much. One kid doesn't, like, you have to respect your family members, you have to respect. Some people say you should post what you would tell a stranger on the airplane, that's about it. You know, as far, because there is that line, right? There's a fine line of like, you know. Separation. But one thing I've learned is that people like to see the process. Yeah. So this one girl, April, I don't know how, her last name is B-O-W-L-E-S. She followed this designer who was designing these boots. And the designer would post like, which materials do you like? This one, this color, this color. So when it came for her to sell that, April felt like she was buying the process. She was investing in a design, in a cause, in something. People don't buy just to have that thing. Right. People don't buy Gucci because it's Gucci. Because it's Gucci. Yeah, right. Right? Because it makes them feel a certain thing, and that's really branding. So you gotta think about your brand, your services, your products. How does that make people feel? Who are those people? Right. What is my ideal audience? Right. So when it comes to that, sometimes your brand is gonna be very you, and people are following you. They wanna know what's going on in your life. So showing process, people are investing in you lots of times, more than whatever you sell.
Absolutely. Right.
So, you know, there's that, but maybe you have a business that is a lot about business. But one marketing mistake that people can do is if they focus on all about them and all about sales, right? So you can still focus about you, but in a creative way. How? Social proof. Showing, oh my God, I have, you know, I'm playing at Ultra. I don't know if you play at Ultra, whatever it's called. I'm not in that scene. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, or I just played at. You could post after. But that's social proof. That's not you saying, hey, hire me, sell me, buy me, buy. So people do not want to be sold to. Yeah. Right? Yep. But there's creative ways for you to remind them that they need. So for example, Facebook versus, let's say, Pinterest. Interesting. Facebook people are there to get distracted, right? Mm-hmm. Pinterest people are there to actually make a purchasing decision. So they're saving ideas. So statistically, an average Pinterest user spends more money than an average Facebook user. So if you were to run a Facebook ad, it can't be like, buy my haircut. No. But it has to put them thinking about that feeling. Oh, you know that feeling when your hair is just so long and you're embarrassed to go out?
I think they're excellent with your Instagram posts and what you guys put and like when you always have like this picture.
Before and afters are really big.
Those are really big.
Before and afters are
like now I'm seeing it because it's probably been a month and a half that I started the whole keto diet thing.
Okay.
Like now this
How's
time
that going?
It's
because I'm starting a diet next week. I'm like scared.
It's going. I love it.
Good.
I love it.
Lost a lot of weight in there.
I've lost about 25 pounds in the last month and a half or so.
Wow. Congrats.
But one of the things that I see now, because I guess since I've been searching a lot of keto, all of a sudden I'm getting so many posts.
Yeah, the ads.
Ads everywhere. And then now what people do is instead of saying, oh, they're just posting dishes that are keto friendly, right? Mm-hmm. So even my wife, she made something Saturday. I got home and she's like, oh no, I saw it on Instagram.
Exactly.
I saw this girl, oh my gosh, she does these plates, it's nice. And she cooked it on Saturday. Nice. So people are like that. They're like, wow, you know, it's more than just selling them.
Right, you gotta put them in that mindset, right? So like, I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'm not thinking I have a haircut, I need a haircut. I wasn't thinking that, but when you say that, when you see like, oh, hate that feeling, blah, 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 you're putting them in that mindset without being like, here's a coupon.
Right.
So you have to be strategic with, even if you're doing organic ads or, you know, or, there's no organic ads. If you're, you know, just put a post versus a paid post, right? Paid, you have to definitely get more strategic because you're spending money.
Right. It's funny, I don't know, I'm sure you've heard of Tony Robbins.
Yes.
About that. Years ago, because I've always been around, you know, besides music, I've always been around like the sales world, and I've read books, and I've been to billion seminars, and I remember years ago, it was probably 1999, I went to see him at the James O. Knight Center. It was like a 12-hour thing, it was incredible. And he was talking about marketing. There was a room full of like realtors and people, all types of salespeople. Right. And he was talking about something that you're calling it social proof, but he was calling it framing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like you're engineering your reputation.
Yes.
Right? When they think of Eva, they think of this.
Right.
Right? Like everyone, like if you talk about, if I go, hey, how's your sister? Right? And without knowing her, you'll probably tell me, oh, my sister's like this, or my mother's like that, or this, right? That's reputation. But in business, you say, wow, no, you go to royalty, right? Like someone asks you, hey, where do you get your hair done? Oh, I go to royalty.
Yeah.
You know, and just
the Dominicans know how to do hair.
that's the really good reputation.
And I'm treated like royalty.
No, and the male ones too.
My
But
poor hands.
my man's over here.
I know. He was like, my God, my hands.
But what I'm saying is that one of the things he was talking about was about how to frame yourself.
Yeah,
And he
put
gave,
the person in
then
that
he
framework
and then he
of
did
that
an
need.
exercise, and I'll never forget this exercise. He put a bunch of symbols like McDonald's and Coca-Cola and this and that. Right? Oh no, but before he did that, he said, okay, when you think of soda, name the first three. Everybody was like, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, right? When you think of fast food, he goes, why do you think that happens? Why did McDonald's back then, and probably still now, they still spend about $3-5 million a day on ads, right? Because even then,
they need it.
They need it. It's framing.
Yes.
As soon as you think about fast food, McDonald's. As soon as you think, oh my God, I want a soda, Coca-Cola. It's the top of the list.
And if they don't keep doing that, they'll go away.
Yeah, they'll go away. And then there's a symbol. The symbol, when you think of the symbol,
right.
like for example, talk about beer, Budweiser. Why does Budweiser have red, white, and blue? Because most of their customers are very American, right? They're very traditionalist Americans that buy Budweiser.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So
everything has a purpose.
Everything has a purpose.
Yes. And that's branding.
But that was back then before all of this. I mean, we're talking about 1999 that the internet was still fairly new. So it was more about one-on-one.
Yeah, flyers.
Right now it's just completely different. Now it's so easy to just frame yourself. You know, just as long as you have some people, you have just those pictures when you posted the stuff that she's doing, it just looks so professional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you just met Fuse today, right? So when I say about her name, tell me something quick. What will you think?
Fuse.
Come on.
Think of SEO, photography.
Yes.
All right. You see?
Brazilian.
So all right. So really quick, when you think about ELKIN, what do you think?
Barber.
Hey.
And also producer,
rapper.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christian.
Thank you.
When you think about me, what will you think of?
Hair.
Oh Lord.
We think about hair. We think about.
My hair, you're Dominican.
Yeah.
Faith, I think.
Yes.
Faith.
Yes.
But just moving a little bit away from this topic is you know, it's also good to know a little bit more about you. You know, obviously you say you've been here about 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you studied here in the States because your English is perfect.
Thanks.
So where did you study?
Sure. So I came when I was 6 years old. My mom was a single mom at the time, and I grew up in New Jersey. So Brazilian-born, Jersey-raised.
Oh, my brothers were born in Patterson.
Okay, there we go. Newark. I lived in Newark, then I moved Central Jersey, which Central Jersey is a place that the North and the South refuse to recognize. It's just a funny thing.
Yes.
But we always wanted to come to Florida, just because weather. We're Brazilian. My husband's Brazilian, and we knew like God had something here for us too.
Right.
That was like 15 years ago, and of course things take longer. So 7 years ago, I got this opportunity to relocate to South Carolina. So we lived in South Carolina for 4 years, which was great for the boys, not great for us, but you know, that's how life is, right? One thing leads to another,
Right.
because I probably wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened, right? So sometimes you're like, oh, you can feel like, oh, I failed, or, oh, I failed so many times. That's just, you're gonna fail, I'm sorry. Like, and the sooner you become comfortable with failing and just getting back up, the better or the more successful you're going to be in business, in finding that curiosity, right? In aligning that thing that maybe you didn't know you were passionate about that actually can generate income, right? So, and then the opportunity for the marketing agency showed up, and we're like, well, we knew that, you know, at least one of us needed a full-time job for us to relocate. So I got the full-time job, and we relocated with my 2 boys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wow. And I love South Florida.
And what does your husband do?
My husband, he works in the construction industry. He has a tile installation company.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great, so you handle
So
all
if
the-
anybody wants to get some
Yeah. Man.
That's
Yeah.
great. No, but you know what? As you speak, it's very subtle. You still have a little bit of the New Jersey.
Oh, it comes
It's
out
very
when I'm
subtle.
like coughing, you know.
Yeah,